Yeah, I am. I've just finished a tour, but I'm taking time off now. I have, I spent when my son was born, I was doing a show on Broadway, and then I've done several things beyond that and tours, several tours, and I just haven't really had too much time to kind of play dad or to be still at home. So I'm taking a few months off. I've done a few. I did a Funny or Die skit, which is going to be online in the next few weeks, and then I did an episode of a TV show. And I'll pick up little tiny things, and I have lots of meetings on things that might happen in the future. But as far as working and singing right now, I'm taking some time off. I don't really want to be in the studio right now anymore. I've done enough of that in the past 7 years. I'll do it again, but right now I kind of just want to enjoy the ability to not have to do anything for a minute.
So are you kind of transitioning to doing more entertainment, not just singing? And
I think
know you've already done some shows.
Yeah.
Obviously, Broadway was very successful for you.
I think that anybody who does, if you want to stay doing this, you kind of have to diversify in some way. Singing is what I really want to do, and I don't really have any designs on being in movies or film or TV or anything like that. But I like to sing, and I love doing the Spamalot thing. I really didn't think I'd like it. I really thought, well, I didn't think I'd hate it, but I really thought that I would go and enjoy myself, and I'd do it, and I would check it off my list, and I'd be done. But it was a blast, and being in that group setting and the teamwork thing, it was one of my favorite things so far. But I didn't get to sing in that show. The show is hilarious. It's great fun, but there's not much real singing, and especially the part that I played didn't sing much at all. So I'd love to take the fun of that and the singing that I like to do and bring them and do them both at the same time. So we have our eyes open and our ears open, and we're talking to a few people about other opportunities to do that. But I don't really care to that to me is kind of the diversification of it. I'm not necessarily trying to be an actor, but if I can do that type of thing, that'd be wonderful. And the truth is, anybody who comes off of Idol or any TV show, I think, really is more of a personality than they are than most musicians are. If you think about people you hear on the radio now, you know their voice, you know their name, but you don't know too much about them. And when you come off of a TV show, people know your name, and they know so much more about you, so you kind of are a personality in some ways. And so I do kind of appreciate that, and I enjoy doing that type of thing. But the nice part about it is that knowing my name, I get to do things with nonprofits and work with charity things, and I'm going to focus on that more right now than I have been able to in the past, and try to dabble. I'm going to keep it. Let me put it this way: before I did Idol, music was always kind of a hobby for me, and it was something that I liked to do for a hobby, and it turned into my job, and it turned into a job that allowed me now to take a year and do it as a hobby again. When you do something for so long, I think, even if it is something you love to do, it can become work. And I don't want that to ever happen. So when I did this last tour, I had a great time, but I found myself, for the first time ever, kind of waking up and thinking, oh, God, I got a show tonight. Okay, let's go and do this. And I didn't want that. I love doing what I'm doing. I love singing, but the process of making, when it becomes work, it becomes difficult. So
you just got burned down.
Right. So I kind of am fortunate enough and have the luxury of being able to kind of stop and step away from it for just a while and say, okay, let me remind myself why I like to do it. So I'm picking up things. I'm singing at a wedding next weekend for the first time in 10 years. I've not sung at someone's wedding in years, and a friend of mine is getting married in Las Vegas. She was in Spamalot with me, and I'm going to go sing at her wedding. And I thought, you know what, that's fun. Let me do things where I get to sing for fun instead of for job. So I'm enjoying the luxury of being able to do that right now.
Let's talk a little bit about your fans out there, because I know that you still have a great following. So what do you attribute that to?
There's no way to know. Someone could do a doctoral dissertation on the Claymates and the enthusiasm that one gets from someone who they don't know. That's really interesting to me. I'd like to think that it is solely because they think I'm a good singer and they like that. But there must be more, because there's something else to it, because they're great singers who I love and I don't go rah about. I think there's No.
Do you do Facebook and Twitter?
I don't, and I think that's. Sometimes I think that may be why. If you look back in like the 50s and the 40s and 50s and 60s, and these celebrities and these stars who we knew, who we worshiped, Marilyn Monroe's and Elvis Presley's, and we didn't know anything about them at all. And that made them so appealing. I was just in London over New Year's, and I stood outside Buckingham Palace, and I thought to myself, I wonder what room she's in right now. And you just think, we don't know. We're never going to know exactly what their life is like. And look at how many people watched the royal wedding. It was this huge thing. But now everyone is Twittering or whatever it is, and I'm not too old to do it. I just think to myself, I don't think anyone cares what I had for breakfast, or nor do I want them to know what I had for breakfast. And so I don't do that, and I don't do Facebook publicly.
On Idol, people really got to know you.
Right, but they didn't know too much about me. They knew my personality, I think, because they saw me perform every night, and we did interviews and whatnot, but they didn't know everything about me. I mean, let's be honest, there have been open mysteries for years surrounding me that I don't address or I don't talk about, and I think that makes things more interesting. You want to, and I don't do Twitter because, first of all, I'm boring, and second of all, I think that I think that if you know everything you need to know about somebody, then you just get tired of it. So maybe that's the answer. Where I'm brainstorming here with you right now. I have no idea. I honestly believe if I knew the answer to it, I'd go into business marketing exactly how to do it, how to have these extremely energetic people who are fans and who stayed supportive. Also, there are, if you look at people who were popular in the, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and that type of, they had a very young audience, and young audiences are fickle. Young fans are very fickle. Remember the Jonas Brothers?
Oh yeah.
Exactly,
They just kind of
and they did because Justin Bieber came along, and now he's it. And in a year or so, sorry, Justin, everybody does this, and and fortunately for me, there have been the fan base was always slightly more mature. I mean, there were always young kids, and there still are, but there have been a lot of 30-year-old, 40-year-old, and up who aren't as fickle. They tend to know what they want, and they tend to enjoy what they like, and they don't change their mind every time somebody else walks by, or their attention spans are longer. So that's helped too.
Mm-hmm. When you look back on your days at Idol, it seems to me like it was just yesterday. Does it seem like it was a long time ago for you, or did you appreciate that time? Or?
I did. Does it seem like a long time ago? It doesn't seem like it was yesterday anymore. And I had this conversation with somebody a few days ago because it's now to the point where I don't. This is going to sound a lot worse, so make me look good. I don't completely remember what it was like to not go to a restaurant and have to either wear my hat or to have people point and stare. And that's okay because this is something I chose to do. I had an option. I'm sure I could have left and gone and done other things a long time ago, and I've opted to stick with doing it. But it's been a while. It's been a long time. I was saying earlier that for a lot of people, I'm frozen at 24 years old, and for me, I'm not. I do find that if I spike my hair, I get recognized everywhere I go by everyone. But if I comb it down or I put on my glasses or something, I can float by a little bit easier because there's that image that people recognize and remember.
Right. Your hair was a big deal.
It was such a big deal. I had no idea. It really has been my saving. If I should get a wig of it. I feel like I should put it so I don't ever have to do it. I could just put that same hairdo on. It doesn't work for me anymore. I went and saw a show at Carolina a few weeks ago, and my favorite musical of all time, Big River, and I've always wanted to play that part. And I looked at the guy playing it. He did a great job, and I thought, I am so old. I can never play that part again. But it's been a while. I do appreciate it though to answer that part. I mean, I've said many times and would say again, if I could go back and do what I did on that show every week, forever, I would do it. It was the most fun I've ever had, and I got really lucky. The season we were on, it was still sort of new to people. The first season of Idol with Kelly kind of blew up at the very end, right out of nowhere. It wasn't that big for the whole season. Right towards the end, people got excited about it. So the second season started off with this extreme amount of energy. People wanted to see this show the whole way through this time, and by the end, it had just really blown up. And a lot of people who were working on it the rules were being written as they went. as far as how to produce this show and whatnot.